freelancing.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, YouTube. Hello, friends and family on YouTube and on Instagram. Hey, how y'all doing? My name's Labria Jones. I think y'all should know who I am by now. You are, you on my Instagram, it says it right there. You're on my YouTube, it says it right there as well. I'm very excited about today's conversation. I'm very excited about today's conversation because here's what's been blowing up on my YouTube lately is the stories about how I've made money outside of having a W-2 job. I posted about how I made $55,000 in side hustles last year or in 2023 and 75,000 in side hustles in 2024.
Wow.
And it's been blowing up. And then I posted a video about how I plan to make over 100,000 this year without a job. And also blew up. And so this conversation is perfect timing because a lot of people are asking me, well, how do I get started? Thank you for saying you like the look, the new look. I appreciate that. So a lot of people are curious about how to get started. How do I get started making extra money on the side or full time so I can say goodbye to the corporate world, so I can say goodbye to the US or whatever country you're in, right? And I think freelancing is a compelling option because a lot of people don't realize how much flexibility and freedom it gives. And so if you're on Instagram, we're going to continue this conversation on YouTube. So please head over to my stories and join us there. I'm going to turn off the Instagram, go to my stories and join us on YouTube because we're going to be talking about freelancing over there. See you there. Okay. So thank you. Thank you, LH. Thank you, Nicole. I appreciate it. You guys are so nice. So kind. I got new her. That is not what this conversation is about today. So what I'd love to know, though, from the folks that are watching on YouTube, how many of you have been a freelancer before or been a virtual assistant? Same. Done work for somebody virtually. Mm-hmm. Let me know. Say me in the comments if you have been a freelancer. I'm going to ask that first question first while me and Hannah talk about how long we've been freelancing. You've been doing it a lot longer than me, so I'll put mine out there. My first,
okay. No, go ahead.
Foray into freelancing, because mine has been broken up.
Yeah.
Like I dipped in, I dipped out. I dipped in, I dipped out. So my first foray into I can't say that.
I don't even know that word.
Foray. My first experience. My first time freelancing was in 2013. Mm-hmm. I left my corporate job or I got let go from my corporate job. Actually, I got let go from my corporate job, and what happened? I didn't want to go back to work. I left my job and I didn't want to go back to work. I really liked being home when my daughter got home from school every day. And so I was like, how do I do this from home? How do I do this in a way that I have the flexibility to be there for my daughter? And also, my mom got sick. Mm. So I need to be able to take care of my mother. Yeah. And so that was in 2013. So I worked as a project manager contract. Mm-hmm. I did I had a client in London. Oh, I had a client in Costa Rica. I had a client in New York. And then I got a client in Chicago as well. And I did that for a whole year. And then I went back to corporate life. And then at some point, I just started doing stuff on the side, freelancing on the side, because I'm always about a side hustle, multiple streams of income. I don't think anybody can rely fully on a job.
No.
I don't think anybody should.
No, dangerous.
No, it's dangerous. And we're going to talk about that. Yes. We're going to hit on that. So I haven't seen anybody say me yet. I'm going to ask the question again. So a couple of people said that they are freelancing. For corporate America, but launching their own. I plan to ditch corporate by June. Okay, so somebody's working for corporate America. Mm-hmm. You see me. Okay, so how many of you are afraid of freelancing? I want you to answer that question. Say me in the comments if you are afraid of freelancing. If it's like, freelancing sounds scary to me, being a virtual assistant sounds scary to me. While Hannah tells us how long she's been freelancing.
I've been freelancing since 2012, so just a year before you, actually. I started for very different reasons, but I had been traveling for a long time, and I ran out of money. I was, backpacking, doing work exchanges, woofing, that kind of thing. And I realized I wanted to keep traveling, but I wanted to do it with some money in my pocket. It would be nice. Yeah. And I went back to England at that point because I didn't even know freelancing was an option. It was like so not on my radar. I didn't even own a laptop. But I went back to the UK and I did what everyone told me to do: get a real job, go back to school, blah, blah, blah. And I did. I got a job in a bar for a couple of months. And then I met someone who worked online. And I didn't care what she did. I was just like, wait, you work on your laptop from anywhere? She's like, yep.
You're like, that's all you need?
Yeah.
You need a laptop? You don't have to go anywhere?
Exactly. So I was like, please tell me everything you know. And she did very generously teach me everything she knew and more. And it wasn't until my first gig was on Freelancer or something. It was like $5 for like a few days work. It was terrible. But it was my first money I ever made online. It was cool. I was like, there's an opportunity here. And yeah, we started a business together. It wasn't until one of my clients told me that I was their virtual assistant on Team Cool. And I was like, oh, there's a name for this. Yeah, I never looked back. I mean, for me, it was the freedom, the flexibility to continue traveling, to work at times that suit me, to work with people I want to work with, do things I want to do. And the more I was learning, the more I was earning. So I was like, this is good stuff.
Please say that one more time.
The more
you what?
The more I was learning, the more I was earning.
So here's the thing. I think a lot of people assume that virtual assistants and freelancers really don't make any money.
Yeah, that's a big misconception.
It's a huge misconception. So I would like to, and I already see people saying that they're afraid.
Yeah.
So why don't we, and I didn't even give you the opportunity to introduce yourself.
Oh, you're good.
And tell you why you're here. So I'm gonna let you do that. Introduce yourself and tell the people like what you're up to.
Yeah.
Give them a little teaser of the 5-day, situation. Sure. And then I want to hit on, I think I actually want to start. Typically we start this conversation out with like the benefits of freelancing and stuff. I want to go straight into the things people are afraid of.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So let's start with, tell the people who you are, Hannah, and why you over here.
Hannah Dixon, and this beautiful lady on the left here, Libria. We've been friends for some years now and always love these sessions and these conversations. So thanks for having me. I have been freelancing for a long time, and I moved into training other freelancers when I realized there are a lot of people with these misconceptions about how much you can get paid, where to find clients, these kinds of things. In my first year of freelancing, I made 6 figures in income, and that didn't seem typical with the people that I was surrounding myself in Facebook.
Wait, what? Y'all, this is not fake surprise. I don't think I ever knew that.
Oh, really?
Your first year freelancing?
Yeah.
Your first year freelancing, you made 6 figures? I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I probably heard it before and like stored it away and just forgot. Yeah. But like, that's wild.
And so I started a Facebook group back then, and I was trying to meet other people doing this kind of work. And I was sharing what was happening for me. And they were like, we're not getting that kind of results. Like, what are you doing? So I threw together a free 5-day challenge, which I'm running next week if anyone wants to join. I threw together this 5-day challenge. It was like, maybe I do know something about this. Like maybe I've like figured something out here, because I wasn't doing it for gig platforms, like Upwork and stuff like that. You can, but I wasn't doing it that way. So I was like, maybe there's a different way to do this that people need to know about. So I threw together this 5-day challenge. At the end of the week, people were getting clients. So skip forward, I eventually moved out of doing VA work myself and into fully training virtual assistants and freelancers. And I've trained 35,000 people to date over the past decade. And we are one of the leading organizations for training VAs these days. So
are you one of, or are you the?
Sorry?
Are you one of, or are you
I say one of to be humble. Yeah, no.
It is. It's not being humble if you're stating facts. It's the facts.
You know what? I love what I do though, because I think one of the really cool things about freelancing and virtual assistant work, or any type of online work really, is just you get to connect with people all around the world. Like you and I have been connected because of the internet. Like we met in Barcelona way back, and if we hadn't been working online, we wouldn't have stayed connected. And all these amazing people that we share in our network now, that's one of the biggest benefits, is just the people you meet. And I love the community that we've built with what I've done. So I really like it.
That's amazing. I love this. And so y'all, Hannah dropped like a couple of, she real like casually dropped a couple of huge things, right? And, light work. I made over $6,000 my first year as a virtual assistant. Light work. I've helped 35,000 people. That's a lot of people, girl. That's a small city.
It is. Yeah.
It's a small city of people. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it's really cool. And I love having you on this channel to talk about stuff like this, especially at this time, because I think so many people are just frustrated with the job market.
Yes.
Frustrated with a lot of the return to office mandates, frustrated with the fact that employers have basically wrestled power back. Right? We were in a period where it was more of an employees market, and then it was kind of moderate, but now employers have wrestled power back and they are acting out
Yep.
and acting up. Not only are they forcing people to return to the office, they're getting rid of DEI programs.
Yeah,
They are. They're also, they've not made very much improvements in the candidate experience process either.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's actually, they're actually making it worse. All this to say, I love what you do because you get people to think differently about how they can make money.
Yeah.
How they can live their lives and how they can create work that fits their life instead of making their life to fit work, right? Because for me, it's all about life work balance. The living part comes first.
Yep.
And so I think that's why you and I, we just mesh so well because we basically have the same goal of helping people have more life work balance.
Absolutely.
That said, I want to jump right into the things that you and I hear the most that people are afraid of.
Yeah.
Let's go back and forth. Like you do one, I'll do one. What are the things that you hear people are most afraid of when it comes to freelancing?
Security.
In the comments. This is call and response. I grew up in the South, in Southern churches. We're not here to talk to ourselves. Call and response. If we say something that you feel afraid of that hits a nail on the head, you could drop an amen in the comments.
Yep.
You feel so moved. Okay, what's yours?
All right, I think it's job security.
Jobs. Oh man, I wanted to do that one. Job security. I like how you said this. Job security.
Yeah. I mean, you've said it a million times. You lose your job, you lose your job. If you got a bunch of freelance clients, you lose one freelance client, you still got income coming in. It's diversifying your income.
That part. If that's you, if your thing is I'm afraid of job security, of having job security, and so I don't want to be a freelancer. I don't want to be a freelancer because I'm afraid of not having job security. Here's my thing though, Hannah. With the whole job security thing and stability. Let's throw stability in there. Yeah. Same, right?
Yeah.
Them people can fire you at any time.
For any reason.
Those people can fire you at any time for any reason, especially in the United States.
Yeah.
If you are in the US, ain't no such thing as job security unless you're in the government. It is very difficult for people to get let go in the government at times, and teachers, I think. I think there's a couple of industries where it's actually tough to get let go in the United States, but everybody else, child. And here's the thing. The thing that I like to call out for people from a job security perspective is if you do get let go, there's no foresight unless you see the company taking it. So for me, I knew it was coming. Yeah. Right. I knew for months that it was coming. But for a lot of people, it's a surprise. Because someone is in a back room making decisions about you that you're not a part of, and they're not taking into account your bills, your responsibilities, your healthcare needs, none of that. And so I challenge all of us that say jobs equal stability to say, actually, I'm not sure it does, because the rug can be pulled out from you at any time.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's a mindset shift from being in that position to freelancing where you are taking ownership of what's happening, right?
Right.
So of course, there's going to be some instability in any career, any type of thing you do. It could be pulled from under your feet anytime, right? That's just life. It could be, a relationship, anything. There's a risk in everything we do. But I think that when you own what you're doing, when you take ownership of your direction, of your path, where your finances are coming from, what kind of work, what kind of people you're working with, and how involved you are in their business, it creates more stability. In my view, it creates more stability.
I agree. And I think part of why it creates more stability is, one, it's not a surprise. If things change for you, you see it coming, right?
Yeah.
You're the one, and ultimately you're the one making the decisions to continue or stop, right? So you are, like you said, you're in control.
Yeah.
The second thing is, I think freelancers get around the whole stability challenge by diversifying their income.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
can you talk a little bit about how some of your freelancers, or even you, have diversified your income and how that's helped with stability?
For sure. I mean, there's different ways that you can package up your services and stuff. It depends on the services that you're offering. But I always say the kind of cream of the crop scenario is that you have retainer clients. And if you have retainer clients, let's say you have 3 to 5 clients paying you $2-3K a month. That's a healthy income, right? So then if you lose one of those clients, it's highly unlikely all of those clients are going to drop off at one time. Yeah, for sure, clients are going to come and go sometimes, but not all at the same time. If you have 5 clients paying you $2,000 a month, one drops, you still have enough income and a cushion there to seek to replace that income, right? So I think that's the ideal scenario for a lot of freelancers, and a lot of the people in my program do kind of go towards that route. You can do hourly, you can do project-based, you can do package-based stuff, but retainers, I think for me, is where you're going to get that. I know what I'm getting paid every month. My clients know what they're spending every month. Everyone feels kind of secure about that. And you have a contract in place, right? There's still a timing element of like, they can't just let you go out of nowhere. So you would know. And also I think when you work for yourself, when you're working with clients directly, you know if you're underperforming. Like, it's not going to be a surprise if you get let go, because when you're doing it for you, you know it's different. It's totally different.
Yeah. And I want to add too, I think a lot of freelancers that I've seen who have diversified their income as well, they have a multi-tiered model where they can teach people how to do things, right? So I can create a course. I can have a coaching community where I teach people how to do it. And then you can have I can do it for you, which is what I think Hannah just described, right? So if you put me on a retainer, I can do these things for you. So let's use setting up ClickUp as an example.
Sure.
A lot of people are into ClickUp right now. It's an operations management, project management tool. And a lot of companies and small businesses are looking for professionals to set up ClickUp. And so as a freelancer, you can say, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create like a guide. A checklist. These are things every organization should have that is using ClickUp. And you can sell that at a low cost. Right? So you got a low cost digital product. Boom. And then you can say, I can create a short course that just shows people how to set up their ClickUp, get started, and give them a few best practices. Right? So that's digital product number 2. Then you could say, well, I will coach people and do it with them and show them how to do it. Right? I'll show you how to do it. And I can charge another fee for that. And then the ideal scenario, which is what Hannah just explained, is done for you, where you can just hire me to set it up for you. And now you have a whole revenue model, right? You have a multi-tiered revenue model. And the good thing about that and how it helps with, this feeling of stability is that when one is going down, you can focus on the other. If you're having challenges with the digital products, you can be pushing the clients and retainers. If you're having problems getting clients and retainers because their wallets are tight, then you can be pushing your digital products and your coaching.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Also, I will say another way, which I've been really leaning into with our community the last couple of years, and something I did myself, but I didn't label it that at the time. I realize now what it was called, but like VIP days, like short 1 day, 4-figure days, get like something that someone needs done, that like a big transformation in 1 day, charge them 4 figures. Like, that's amazing. Do that 2-3 times a month on top of your retainers. You're in a really good place there. But I wanted to go back to something you said there. I wanted to add to it, but I forgot what you said. It will come to me in a minute.
Yeah. I was talking about the 4, like multiple ways to have income.
And then the cool thing about that as well is that when you are a freelancer, when you become a business owner, when you're a freelancer, your network, right? The network that you build is yours from day one until forever. So I think this is something that people don't talk about enough, is that when you're in a job, like I worked in fashion many years ago, you'd never be able to tell now, but many years ago I worked in fashion. And when I worked there, I built so many great contacts with editors and photographers and writers and musicians and famous people. And when I left, I had to hand all those contacts back. I was not allowed to contact those people ever again. If I had wanted to work in fashion again, I would have been starting from scratch. When you work for yourself, your network is your network from day one. It grows with you and it serves you, and you can serve it for years to come. So if you have all these types of products and people love what you're doing, offer them incentives to refer you. Like, referrals are the backbone of this kind of business. So it's really important to be networking as well, which is also why in the 5-day challenge, I think the community aspect is so powerful.
Yeah, I love it. I will tell you, okay, so I'm going to tell you, because a few people joined. Me and Hannah are talking about how to be freelancers. And the timing of this is great because I've been talking a lot about how I've made money outside of having a W-2 position. And also Monday, like in 2 days, Hannah is starting a 5-day free VA challenge. Again, totally free. So let me give you guys the link to sign up. You can type that into your browser to sign up, I can copy and paste it in the comments as well. But that is where you can sign up for it. It's completely free. Of course, it's going to cost you your email because she's got to be able to email you. Can you tell them where you run the 5-day challenge and how they'll get the content from it?
Yeah, so there's a few ways so we make sure that you're covered on all bases. Once you sign up, you'll get access to a Facebook group right away, which I do recommend joining before Monday because you can connect with some accountability buddies, kind of understand what's going to happen in there. You'll also get an email every single day from me. And in that email, you get a link to a course platform. So you'll have your own learning area with your assignments every single morning at 8 a.m. EST. You'll then share your call it homework, your assignments, the work that you do each day into the Facebook group so that myself and the team can support you throughout the week as well. So sometimes we have 2,000 people in these challenges, but me and my team, we're here all next week to make sure you get personalized feedback as well. So if you're looking to do this in a way where you feel like you really do want to get that kind of feedback, you want to get some accountability, you want to get some momentum going, this is a really good place to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Is it my turn to say something that people are afraid of? And actually, I would, because since you took mine, which is stability, I'm going to go with people not knowing what skills they have that they can get paid to do. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's a lot. That's a challenge a lot of people have. They're like, well, most people hear freelancers or virtual assistants and they think administrative assistant, they think graphic designers, they think web developers and website designers. Or something like specifically creative, like somebody that's editing videos or something like that. They don't think I have the skills to be a freelancer, to be a contractor. And I love to tell people all the time, you would be surprised at what people are willing to pay for. So I actually start a comment because someone actually mentioned this in the comments. I know I have some marketable skills, but I need to figure out what can be translated to being a VA. And would like to learn some new skills too. Can you talk a little bit about this? You hit on this, I can add to it, but I know you specifically go over this in your 5-day free VA challenge.
Yeah, and we actually talk about this on day one because it is such a big topic for people, knowing where to get started and what kind of skills you might have. I will take a stab in the dark here and say that probably 99% of the people that I know that come through the challenge or in general have skills that they can sell as a service online right now. I think one of the things that people need to realize is that you don't need to know everything, and you never will know anything. When you're working online, stuff's changing all the time. Like we have AI now, we're all learning as we go. And so if you're coming into this and you think, whoa, I've only ever used Microsoft Word, or, there is someone in the world that needs help with that. You only have to be a couple of steps ahead of someone see you as an expert. So everybody has skills, but I also think the soft skills are so grossly underlooked when it comes to this kind of work. I love working with people who are who can anticipate my needs, who can do research and not ask me questions.
Problem solve.
Yeah, I mean,
like when you come to me with like a problem you found, you already have solutions.
Yes.
Like, hey, Libria, this thing went wrong.
Yeah.
But here's what I think we should do.
Yeah.
You let me know if you want me to proceed.
Absolutely.
That's a soft skill.
A lot of the stuff in this kind of career, of course, you can do all kinds of courses and learning and stuff, but a lot of stuff you'll learn on the job because everyone's business is different. Yeah. So the soft skills cannot be overlooked. Like for me, one of the biggest one is anticipating needs. Like if a business owner, we're getting on a call here today. One of my team members is messaging me, remember you got the thing with Libria today. Do you have everything you need? I'm like, love it. Love that you're already on that and know what I would need because you know my business. Yeah. So soft skills, number one, and then two, realizing that you don't need to know a hell of a lot to get paid right away, and you can learn more to earn more.
I love that you said that. Okay, I'm going to say two things. One, another soft skill that I love is being able to learn things quickly, being able to figure things out on your own. Yes. Because a lot of people say that they want to be VAs or they want to be project managers, but they don't know project management tools. Yeah. And I have to remind people, nobody taught me how to use any project management tools.
You learn it.
I have been a project manager for over 13 years, and I've literally never been formally trained on a project management tool. Mm-hmm. Neither have any of the project managers that I work with.
Interesting.
We have never been trained on this stuff. Like no one is sitting us down and teaching us how to use Asana. You figure it out. And the cool thing about Asana is, or sites like Asana or tools like Asana is a lot of them are free. You guys can learn how to use this stuff for free. Yep. So I value the soft skill of being willing to learn and being able to like kind of ramp up quickly and figuring things out on your own, not being afraid to make mistakes.
Absolutely.
In the pursuit of trying and learning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the other thing that you just said, dang it, I missed it. I lost it.
I was talking about you don't need to know everything. Like start with what you know.
That's it. So you mentioned that a lot of people are afraid that they're not an expert, right?
Yeah.
I want to remind people that not everybody is necessarily hiring you because you know so much more than they do. Some people just don't want to do the thing. They just want somebody else. You can know the same things that I know, but I just don't want to do that. Like I know how to edit my own videos.
Yeah.
I know how to edit. I don't want to. It's just like mowing the lawn. How many men, because I assume men are born knowing how to mow lawns, right? But how many men are out here like, no, I'm paying for that.
Yeah.
I'm paying somebody to do that. How many women
It's the same as me ordering Uber Eats.
You know how to go get food.
I just don't want to.
You know how to cook. You just don't want to. Yeah. So keep in mind, friends, that it's not always about having the concern is always like the level of knowledge I have versus the level of knowledge you have needs to be like at least this wide.
No.
It can literally be the same. I just don't want to do that thing because I need to focus elsewhere. And so stop putting the pressure on yourself to feel like you need to know everything and you need to be an expert. Furthermore, you might be surprised at what you are actually an expert at. So, oh, go ahead.
If you jump headfirst in and going with that mentality, there's, like you said, you don't know what you're an expert of, but you might start identifying things that you never even imagined. So for example, I know people in my community who have, there's a noise, I think it's outside. There's like music on the street outside distracting me. It's in the house. Can you hear that?
No, we can't hear it.
Okay, as long as you can't hear it. I know people in my community who have done things like they've started as a VA and then now they're speaking coaches because they realized through that career on getting on Zoom calls and facilitating group sessions that they were really great speakers. And then they got on stage and then people were like, you need to be doing this. And so it all started with them taking that first step and thinking, well, I'm just going to put myself out there as a VA offering admin services. But then through what they were learning, they learned that they were a great speaker. So it opens up so many opportunities when you take those first steps.
Oh, I love that. I actually have an example of that too. My graphic designer, she is from the Philippines and she started doing administrative assistant work. That's what she started out doing. So pretty much general things like managing calendars or schedules, if you will, or diaries, depending on where you're from. Schedules or diaries. She started out managing people's, calendars, email inboxes and things like that. And then I think one of her clients gave her a project to do something on Canva.
Right.
And she liked it so much that she ended up deciding to specialize in doing Canva templates and being a graphic designer. She switched up her whole freelance model and approach. And she ended up becoming one of only 300 Canva certified graphic designers in the world.
Wow.
All because she put herself out there and started something. And if we had had this conversation, if she had been on this call before she started, she would have been like, I don't really have a whole lot of skills.
Yeah.
Or I'm definitely not a graphic designer. She had no idea she was a graphic designer until she started doing things.
Yeah.
Right? I like it. It makes me think about how I didn't know I could draw until I took an art class.
Oh, wow.
And the only reason I took an art class was because it was the last elective left over. I had to take an elective. There were no others. So I signed up for art. I did not know I could draw. I had no idea. If you had asked me if I could draw, I probably would have told you no. And turns out I was just really good at drawing. I had never tried. And so for all of you that are concerned about what you're able to do, you might not even know what you're able to do.
Yeah, sure. And I want to give just one more example quickly of somebody I know in my community who just got started with something they knew and is now doing something totally different, making a hell of a lot of money. She started doing community management in a Facebook group because that's something you can offer. She's like, I'm already in Facebook groups all the time, like cheering people on. So she started offering community management as a service at $16 an hour, which I thought was low, but that's where she started. She now charges $350 an hour consulting people on Facebook ads because she realized that she started to understand the Facebook platform so well. She wanted to learn about Facebook ads. So she started doing that as a service, but now she just does consulting at $350 an hour. I'm like, from $16 an hour to $350 because she chose to just work on Facebook. Like, just get started.
Just get out there. Somebody is bigging you up right here.
Hannah. What's up, Lucy?
Lucy did the challenge. She put her face out there, got a client that week. She got a client during the free challenge, is what she's saying. which is pretty dope. Someone always does every single cycle
Yep.
that you do
At
this.
least a few people, yeah.
So somebody said, I want to address this as the next fear. I know it's your turn, but we're going to let Anna Blue pick what the next fear is.
Okay.
Because Anna Blue said her fear is having to be a personal brand and putting your face out there. What do you have to say about that?
Some people choose to, some people choose not to. There's plenty of ways to land clients. You can be one of those behind the scenes type people, and you can really heavily rely on your network and referrals, or going to events, those kind of things, without having to have some big social media presence or anything like that. And for other people, that works better for them. I think it's really a case of personality and fit, and knowing that there's more than one way to the same outcome, and being willing to try those different things.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. Not everybody has to put their face out there. Some people, like my friend Courtney, who became a multi-millionaire.
Wow.
As a freelancer. Have you met Courtney? You should meet Courtney. She lives in Korea.
Okay.
I'm excited. I get to see her. I have an overnight layover in Korea on my way to Vietnam. We've been friends for a long time. And let's talk about when people think freelancers, they think they have to do something, big and amazing and graphic design and web development. She makes PowerPoint presentations.
Man, that's cool.
She made millions of dollars making PowerPoint presentations on Upwork.
That just says everything we just talked about. Everything.
And she didn't put her face out there. She didn't become a personal brand. It's just not in her personality to be a personal brand. She just got really good at doing proposals, submitting proposals.
Yeah.
She would submit proposals on Upwork. Of course, on Upwork, at first she started, pricing herself a little bit low, like Hannah said, when you first start out. You have challenges knowing how to set your prices.
Yeah.
But also you're trying to get your first client so you can get your first review.
Yeah. You gotta find a balance.
It's a little bit of a balance. She ended up landing a couple of clients, and then she ended up landing like somebody like Sony or HP or something like that.
Nice.
And next thing you know, she's doing PowerPoint presentations for some of the largest companies in the world.
That's crazy.
So you know how we all have seen the images of Steve Jobs standing on a stage with slides behind him. She does she does stuff like that for CEOs and companies. And also there are some companies that do presentations, for sales and stuff like that. And so like they need to have standard templates. So she creates those for organizations, multi-million dollars. And she is not a brand. Or she was not. She is now because she does speaking.
She blew up, yeah.
But she blew up.
Yeah.
She wasn't trying to be a brand. So I want to release you from the misconception that you are going to have to become a personal brand. I know the Instagrams of the world will have you thinking that, but that is not true.
I will also add to that and just say that phrase just came to mind. Be so good they can't ignore you, right? If you're really good at your work, people are going to talk about it and going to refer you. That's how it happens.
And that's all you need. Like, you don't have to become a personal brand. All you really need is a couple of really good clients.
Yeah. And give a really great client experience. Give a really great client experience.
Yeah. So here's what I like. Also, you teach people about how to get clients in the 5-day VA challenge. Is that right?
I do. Yeah. So on day 4 and day 5, we talk about that, and I have you take action. So what I really like about the challenge is that we're not just telling you stuff. Like, you're not just sitting there consuming content all week. I'm getting you to do things that will help you move the needle real quick. So this is for people who are like, I really want to give this a shot. And so on the Thursday and the Friday, we get you to take tasks that can land you clients. And it's in a way that's like not super overwhelming, but it is in a way that's really powerful and does work. So this is why people get clients at the end of the week. It's not just magic. They listen to stuff and you're going out there and you're doing things, because the difference is always in the doing. I know you talk about that a lot. And so the week is really
Sorry. We're doers, honey.
Yeah, we are. And that is what makes a difference. So if you are sitting here thinking, yeah, I'll listen in, but I'm not going to do anything, then don't come. Honestly, don't come.
She said, don't come. If you're not trying to get on the dance floor, don't come to my party.
She said,
we're cutting a rug in this 5-day VA challenge. If you're not trying to get on the dance floor with us, then stay home, okay? No wallflowers at this party, which I'm not mad about, right? Like, if you think that you're going to just sit on the sidelines and ingest information, because here's why I fully support this, Hannah.
Yeah.
You are truly here to help people.
Yeah.
Your goal is to actually help people. And you can only do your help can only be as effective as the people receiving it and then taking action on it, right? And so
Yeah,
to maximize the impact that you have, you got to bring people along that want to do the things.
absolutely. Like, I'm
We are
showing up
about
till you
doing.
show up for you.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, listen, if I got to get out of bed,
You better be getting out of bed.
I gotta get out of bed. You need to do
Yeah.
some things,
Yeah.
okay? So that's it. I'm gonna say another thing that I think is scary to people
Yeah.
when it comes to freelancing is I said getting clients. I didn't say getting clients actually. How am I supposed to get a client?
Oh, there's so many ways. There's like a billion ways, a billion and one ways.
Can we just rattle off a few? Let's just rattle off a few. Let's.
Sure.
What was the last way you got a client?
At an event, at a networking event.
You went to a networking event and got a client? Y'all were just
Yeah.
talking? Did you like go up and say, "Hi, my name is Hannah Dixon. I provide XYZ services." Like, what happened?
No, we were sitting on the same table and we were giggling about something that happened on stage. Then we went for lunch together. I told her what I did. We stayed in touch. We had a call. I booked her as a client. That's how it works.
Easy. The last client I booked was a friend of mine who knows what I do.
Yep.
A friend of mine who knows what I do, and I talk to my friends about their businesses and their work often, and I'm always talking about what I'm doing. And so one of my friends is trying to expand and scale her consulting business beyond just her. She wants to focus on speaking, and then she wants to bring on more consultants. So she needs to expand, and she knows that she doesn't have the operations in place to do that. And she knows that I do operations, and so she asked me to help her out.
That's very cool.
A friend. I have also gotten a client from a networking event, and I didn't do anything corny or cringy.
Yeah.
I was just having a conversation. We were at the table, and we were at a business conference or something. And all I said was, "What is the biggest challenge we're all having in our businesses?" I just asked everybody to answer that question. What's the biggest challenge you're having in your business? And this one guy that was sitting across from me, he said, he's a web developer, and his projects always run overtime and out and over scope, right? So they're always scope creep, and they never finish on time and on budget. I said, "Oh, you need a project manager." He was like, "I know, I've been looking for one." I was like, "Well, you found one. Right here." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have gotten, actually, one of my friends got me as a client. Somebody I know got me as a client just by sharing stories on Facebook about some of the things her clients are experiencing.
Yep.
And guys, these posts have never been salesy or pitchy. No. She's really just sharing her life experience, and that life experience includes things that she's done for her clients. She's just excitedly sharing her information, and that stuck in my head. And I'm like, when I need a bookkeeper, I'm going to hit her up.
Yeah, for sure. I also say, like, sharing testimonials, case studies, all those kinds of things. People need to know that they can trust that you can do what you say you can do. So that sharing those kinds of things is really powerful. Also, even if you don't want to be, what was the term, like public figure or that we talked about?
Public personal branding or something she said like that.
Yeah, personal branding. Even if that's not the route you want to go, I will say just optimizing your social profile so that people know how to reach you, know how to book a call with you, know what you do, is really important. Like, even if you're not posting all the time, it's important to do that. You can also join. You can join, like gig sites or freelance marketplaces. I don't think it's not my preferred way to land clients, but I think diversifying where you're showing up is important to do that. There's also traditional job boards now you can get VA and freelance roles. I've been seeing them pop up a lot more since people know about freelancing.
One of the young ladies that was at a conference that I spoke at, she got a freelance job off of Indeed.
Yeah.
It's like people don't really know that there are freelance and contract jobs on Indeed and LinkedIn.
And you can apply to traditional roles as a freelancer, pitching them why having you freelance is better if you want that freedom and flexibility. And we teach that in our VEA program, actually, because it is a really powerful method that we have for that. So you can always approach people and ask.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you answer this question right here?
What's the question? Oh, maybe. Yes, yoga bliss dance. I do. That's what I've been doing for the past 10 years. That is all I do.
You do some other cool stuff too. But so yes, she does. And I don't know if you joined late, but she is hosting a 5-day free VA challenge where she's showing, teaching you some of the things that are necessary to become a freelancer, like how to set your rates, how to get clients, how to identify the skills that you can use to be a freelancer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to share another thing that a lot of freelancers are afraid of. And I don't know if this is something that is relevant for you since you're not from the US, but a lot of us US folk, we are always concerned about healthcare. Healthcare in this country is a wreck. Listen, I went to go get some labs done. I don't have health insurance anymore.
Right.
And I went to go get some labs done. And I sat down and I was like, before you put that little band around my arm and take my blood, how much is this? How much does this cost? She said, let me look it up. And when she was looking it up, she said, oh Lord. So I knew it was gonna be bad. She was shocked. She said $2,500. All they were doing was taking a few vials of my blood. That's it.
Oh my God.
$2,500 with no insurance. I ended up going to a different doctor that only charged $250 for it. 10% of the cost. Anyway, that is another thing that people are afraid of, especially in the US when it comes to being freelancers. And so I'm happy to share some of the things that I've seen freelancers do and that I'm researching for myself. But you've been doing this for a long time and you work with a lot of people in the US as well. What are some of the things that you see freelancers do to address that? I'm gonna go off camera for just a second because I need to blow my nose.
Yeah. So typically it isn't my area of expertise and I would never claim it to be, but we do also work with, I think you've also worked with her, Dr. Noor Ali, who can help you find adequate insurance as a freelancer. So there are options for freelance specific type plans. Another thing I will say is, again, what we were talking about before, there are some responsibilities that come with freelancing. One of them is paying your own taxes. One of them is, maybe doing estimated taxes. One of them is healthcare. So recognizing that you need to create a buffer for that in your pricing, as well as putting money aside for that and making sure that you can either work with somebody or do the research you need to do to find a plan that is appropriate for you. They exist. Is it easy all the time? No. Is it stressful a little bit? Yes. But there are options out there. And again, if you're working towards making this something where you're creating a really healthy income, you bake that into what you're doing. You bake that into the prices that you're reflective of the prices that you offer. But yeah, I know that I think you have interviewed Dr. Noor as well.
I introduced her to you, I think.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
So I know someone who works in insurance, and she actually works specifically with freelancers and digital nomads who are looking for health insurance. There's the ACA open marketplace, and I know some of those plans can be expensive, but I also know that there are other options as well. What I've seen is some doctors' offices are starting to create membership programs, right? So it's almost like their own form of insurance. Like my dentist office actually introduced something like that. So you pay on a monthly basis, and there are certain things that are included, and then you get a discount on different things as well. And then one of my friends introduced me to a plan, I can look it up, that is a health plan that is similar to how health insurance works, but you're not locked in for a year.
Right.
Because for us, you're locked in for a year every open enrollment period. Right. I'll also point out that the reason why there's benefit to having healthcare with a W-2 employer is because you're able to pool resources, right? Because you are insuring multiple people at the same time. And so the risk profile of insuring that group is normalized. Whereas the risk profile of insuring one person is higher. We say healthcare, but what we have to understand is on the other end of that, for the companies who make money from it, they look at it as investments, right? And so the investment risk is higher when it's just one person. And so there are also opportunities for you to buy into group health insurance without being a W-2 employee. And I think programs like Gusto provide that as well.
Right. Yeah.
And Gusto is a platform that does payment processing, basically payroll for small businesses. And as a contractor, I will tell you, and I know Hannah will tell you as well, you are a small business. You become a small business unto yourself. And so you can do things like sign up for Gusto. It's like $40 a month. And you can pay yourself through that. And it takes care of like your taxes as well if you're US based. Also. So there's all that to say, it's not something to be afraid of. You know why? Because so many people have navigated it. It's really something to add to your list of things that I need to make sure I take care of.
It comes back to that problem solving.
Yeah. It's just, it's another, just, it's one of the things that you've got to figure out, just like figuring out, how to set up your email address for your company, right? It's just one of those things that is part of your checklist of becoming a freelancer. It's not an impossible hurdle. It is a challenge that has a solution. You just got to figure out which solution is best for you, if that makes sense. If that makes sense for everybody. Yeah. All right. So we've talked about, geez, I am struggling. My sinuses are so inflamed and my throat is getting sore. Oh. I want to switch gears. We've talked about the things that people are afraid of with freelancing. Let's talk a little bit about the benefits of freelancing. Can we do that? Because that's our favorite thing to talk about.
Yeah, of course. It's the good stuff.
Yeah. We have 15 minutes left. I want to hit on the benefits of freelancing. And then do me a favor, guys. If you have questions for me and Hannah about freelancing, about her free 5-day VA challenge, drop them in the comments, because both of us love answering questions.
Yeah.
We really do. And if you are watching the replay of this video after Monday, January 20th, MLK, also known as MLK Day in the United States. If you are watching this video after that time, you will have missed the 5-day VA challenge, but get on the email list because she'll do it again. You do this.
Every couple of months we run it. So you never have to wait that long.
She runs it every few months. So get on the email list. Even if you see that it's started already, if you're watching this video and you're like, oh, dang, I missed it. No big deal. Get on the email list so you can hop into the next one. Okay. Yeah. What is your favorite benefit?
Traveling and living anywhere.
I love this. Where have you traveled in the last 6 months? I ain't gonna say in the last year because we'll be here forever. 6 months.
I've been in Thailand, the US, Mexico, Portugal, England, Germany. I think that's it.
You think?
Yeah.
You think that's it?
I think so.
The last 6 months? You were in one place per month? That don't sound right.
Yeah. I mean, I partially live in Mexico now, so.
I feel like you've been way more than 6 places in the last 6 months. It's your life. Yeah. I'm just a stalker. That's it. That's your life. You would know. I'm just living vicariously through you. Being able to travel is a huge benefit.
Yeah.
Huge benefit. That's
choosing your environment. It's just choosing your environment. Regardless of travel, choosing the environment you work in and live in.
I'm glad you said that because that's one of the things that's really important to me. Yeah. I don't see myself ever taking a job where I have to work in an office ever again. I don't see myself ever doing that. Not that I am opposed to going to an office. I like socializing with my coworkers. Yes. I really do. When I was working for the company here in Atlanta, I would go to the office every once in a while of my own volition. Nobody asked me to. I would just do it because I enjoy hanging out with my coworkers. For me, it's about having the choice.
Yes.
It is really about being able to wake up every day and decide where I feel most inspired, creative, able to think, be that in my bedroom, in my dining room, in my home office, at a co-working space, at a coffee shop, at a friend's house, in Costa Rica. I get to decide where to be. That is a huge benefit for me. And I think it's not just about like you said, it's not just about the travel, it's about the choice.
Yes.
We want to be able to choose things.
Absolutely. I was just walking. I'm in Mexico City right now for a couple of weeks. I don't live here. I live in Guanajuato, but I'm visiting Mexico City, and I just walked around the park this morning, and there's people sitting on their laptops working in the park because there's free Wi-Fi. And I'm like, look at these people living the dream.
Living the dream.
Right?
I remember when I used to go to Starbucks in the middle of the day or Panera, and I would see people just in there working. And I used to be like, what do these people do? And then one day I looked up and I was one of those people in Starbucks in the middle of the day working. Someone mentioned this also, and I forgot to, thank you for saying this because I actually forgot to say it when we were talking about healthcare. Here's the other thing as a freelancer concerned about healthcare. If you decide to leave the United States, there are countries where healthcare is much more affordable.
Yes.
And there are countries that actually have expat healthcare products. So Prague, for instance, when I was in Czech Republic, they had a healthcare program that we could buy into as expats. And in some countries, you don't even need health insurance because the healthcare is so inexpensive. Thailand, for instance. I went to the emergency room in Thailand. Here's what's crazy. Have you ever been to the emergency room in the US?
Thankfully, no, because I wouldn't be
do not recommend. Let me tell you something. Here's what happens in the ER in the US. If you've ever watched a like a show about the hospitals. It's pretty similar. So what happens is you go to the emergency room, you're there for 15 and a half hours, and you see a generalist. More than likely, you see an intern who doesn't even have a specialty yet.
Okay.
Right. And then they give you a Tylenol, they send you on your way. They actually, when it's the first day of your last period, always, no matter what you're in there for, they get your weight and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
They pretty much basically give you something to address pain, or, put a Band-Aid on it, and they try to send you on your way. Unless it's something serious and you need to be admitted.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I went to the emergency room in Thailand for an ear infection that was so bad that the side of my face was swollen.
Wow.
Yeah. So normally, if I were in the US, I would have seen an intern who would have given me some Tylenol and maybe an anti-inflammatory drug and sent me home. At this ER, I saw an ear, nose, and throat specialist at the ER who prescribed me some antibiotics. She actually pulled out whatever was in my ear, cleaned my ear out, gave me some antibiotics and some pain medicine. I got my prescription filled right there at the same hospital. And guess how much I paid, y'all? I'm not even gonna tell you. Drop it in the comments. If you guess how much I paid, put it in the comments. Let me know how much I paid. I walked into the ER. I saw a specialist. I got 2 drugs. Tell me how much I paid. Hannah said $80. Let me know. Oh, I'm gonna star this one because Hannah likes to talk about this. I see a comment that I'm gonna star. Somebody said socializing with coworkers is the bane of her existence. That is hilarious. Somebody said 50. Somebody said 300. 300. Regina, you were the closest.
What was it?
Without going over, I paid $35.
Wow.
$35.
There is really something to be said about healthcare in some countries. I'm here in Mexico, and what I love, I have a skin condition, and sometimes I need to get drugs for it, and they're not over the counter. You have to go and get a prescription. I'm in a different city to where I used to live in Mexico. I've moved recently. I WhatsApp my doctor. I'm like, can you send me a prescription? 5 minutes, sent me a prescription, no cost. Go in the ping, $10, done. Like, so easy.
Nice. Sure, 39 is closer, but if you ever watch The Price is Right, you have to be the closest without going over. So I'm sorry.
It's The Price is Right rules.
You got to know the rules. I don't make the rules. The rules were made by, what was his name? Bob. What was that guy's name on The Price is Right? Anyway, Bob said you got to be the closest without going over. Sorry. All right. So I didn't get to say what my favorite thing is. I think my favorite thing is the level of, somebody said $1 million in the US.
Accurate.
Basically. One of my favorite things about freelancing is the empowerment that you have.
Yeah. Because
you get to control, or you are empowered to decide the type of work that you do.
Yes.
And the type of people. Bob Barker. Thank you, Lucy. The type of people you work with, right? How much you charge and the type of work you do. And I'm specifically going to hone in on the type of work you do.
Yeah.
Because one of the things about being in corporate America or working for someone else is they dictate the type of work you do. Yeah. Right. So let's say you want to specialize in something, but they need you to have all these other things. They want you to be cauliflower. And I say this all the time because cauliflower is bread, it's vegetables, it's fried chicken, it's grits, it's ice cream these days. Do you see somebody made cauliflower ice cream?
Yeah, that sounds gross.
They got cauliflower doing all kinds of stuff. Meanwhile, broccoli over here chilling like, I'm around my business, right? You want to specialize in something, but they want you to do all the things. Or you want to be a jack of all trades and get your hands in some other things, but your boss is like, no, you do this one thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, I would like to take on different responsibilities so I can upskill, but they want you to focus on this one thing. So someone else is dictating the type of work that you do. And one of the things I like about the idea of freelancing is that if you want to be a generalist, if you want to be a jack of many trades, you get to do that. Or if you want to upskill and niche and focus on something specific or a specific type of client, you get to decide that. And I think that's an incredible level of empowerment.
Absolutely. 100% agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And to that point, somebody actually asked a question that I think goes in line with that.
Yes.
I like this one because you love talking about this.
Yes, I do. So
I'm
I
gonna mute
always
again because again,
do it.
I'm gonna go off camera again. I'm
Okay,
struggling here.
okay. So I always say, as the Bridge just said, you can be a generalist or you can specialize. I think that there's a big misconception that you have to do either or. I think there's also an in-between space, which is also a really empowering space to be in, where, for example, maybe you offer more general services, but you only offer them to people who are in a values alignment with, maybe your politics or a cause you care about, for example. And to answer this question, so any thoughts on creating a niche business, i.e. specializing in SEO for queer businesses, etc.? My thoughts are that's a great idea. I actually have right in front of me a slide from a presentation I just done on why niching is important in this kind of work. And there's three main reasons. One is that you get to enjoy the type of work you do. You get to enjoy the people that you work with. I always say if you're starting a freelance business, there's no point doing it from a place of not being intentional. Otherwise just go get a job you hate. Quite frankly, if you are taking the opportunity to build something, build it intentionally, build it with design, and do it in a way that you're going to actually enjoy the work you do and the people that you work with. So number one is that enjoyment factor, the fulfillment factor. Two is it helps you stand out. If somebody came to me and said, Hannah, I really want to work with you, my rate is $20 an hour and I can help you with a bunch of stuff, I'd be like, yeah, cool, okay, $20 is really affordable. But if someone else came to me and said, I noticed that you've been slacking on LinkedIn and here's why it'd be so great for you, and I love working with queer businesses who are digital nomads and have online courses, and that's who I work with, my rate is $35 an hour, I'm going to hire the $35 an hour person because they speak my language. They know what I'm doing. They get what I'm about. I don't have to educate them on the absolute basics. I know that we're going to be in a values alignment, and they've already identified a need, or maybe perhaps I've put out a job role, but they've identified that specific need, which brings me to the third point. There's more money to be made when you niche as well. You can charge a premium for having that knowledge, having that language, having that insider information already. So another thing that we do in the challenge is looking at your existing skills, but looking at the experience and the industry type of experience you have. Not necessarily saying you have to do those things, but it can start to help inform what you do next. And maybe it's not the industry experience. Maybe it's your interests in life. Maybe you're really into yoga and you want to work with yoga teachers online. That's how you can kind of marry that, because there's a lot of things that we do and a lot of people we work with, and we could be really good at what we do, but we cannot enjoy it, right? There's a lot of things we do that we don't enjoy. But when you are building something, when you're building something of your own, you have this opportunity to niche in such a way that you feel really great about what you're doing. So I think it's a great idea. Bellies of songs.
Something also, you kind of started out that way too. Not started out, but that's something that you did at some point when you were as a VA as well. Yeah. I remember your story was you were kind of, doing VA work for a lot of different organizations and industries, and then you realized you wanted to focus on doctors' offices.
Yes. Yeah. And there are a few reasons for that, specifically women doctors in the United States. Because doctors in the United States have a lot of money, number one. So I was like, where's the money at? Number two, I just really like.
She want to go where the money reside, y'all.
Well, yeah, I mean, there were a few factors involved. It was like, one, I think that it was really cool to be supporting women in the medical field. Two, I really loved the actual work they were doing. A lot of them were in like holistic therapies or alternative, like women-specific health, which I'm all for. And then third, the money was there, and they were just easy clients. When clients got a lot of money, they're a lot easier as well. So I niched down into that, but I started very general. I went into sort of wellness and holistic sort of
also,
sorry, just broke up. Go ahead.
It's okay. Yeah, you broke up just a little bit. It's all good. I also think that I love that a lot of your audience has chosen to niche into, for instance, podcast management. Yeah. Right. I also have my my operations manager is starting to be very specific and focus on helping content creators. I mean, not content, course creators. Like her focus now is helping course creators build and scale their courses. And so there's so many ways to niche. There's the niching of the industry that I want to work in, the type of person I want to work with. Yep. The what is the word I'm looking for? The cause that I want to champion. So there's so many ways that you can niche if that's something that you choose to do. It's available to you. All right.
And it can change, knowing that it can change. Getting started with something that piques your curiosity. You don't have to be like, oh, I'm going to chase my passion and the money's going to come. That's overwhelming. But What has you curious right now? Start with that and know it's going to change. Like, it took me a while to figure out who I want to work with, but I learned by doing it. I learned by getting to know people, building my network, doing the things, and starting with something.
I love it. Okay, let's answer some questions, shall we?
We
answered one question already. Here's another one. And guys, feel free to drop questions. We're going to answer this one. Drop your questions, and we're going to give you guys maybe 5 more minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Do
I need a specific visa to freelance in another country, or can I just enter as a tourist? It depends on the country, honestly.
Yeah, and how long you're going to be there for.
Yeah. So if you're an American citizen, Kiki, most countries, a lot of countries, allow us to enter on a 60 to 90 day free visa. We just get that little stamp and we keep it going as American citizens. I think the UK has similar. I think that you guys have maybe slightly few more countries that you're able to just enter than we do. Most countries are okay with it. There are a few countries who have recently started to make statements about you can't work while you're here. Yeah. Right? There have been a few countries because they want you to apply for their tourist visa.
Yeah.
Some countries have tourist visas. Now, the tourist visa is mainly for people that are going to be there for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're going to be there for 6 months or something like that, you may want to look into their tourist visa. Their digital nomad visa options.
Yeah.
If you're there on a tourist visa, you should be fine.
Yeah. I'm actually going to drop, if you don't mind, there's a link just to like all the latest digital nomad visas. I think there's 67 now. So you can check that out. And then there's all different requirements for all of them. The link doesn't work, but if you go to the website, freakingnomads.com, it's called, they have like a long list that's always updated.
Okay. Yeah. Some places will, and when you say requirements differ from country to country. Some of them require you have a certain amount of money saved up, or you need to be able to prove that you can afford to live there. They don't want you coming there being homeless in their streets. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Okay. So real quick, can you give us a breakdown of how the 5-day VA challenge works?
Yes.
Remind us when it starts for those people who have just recently joined. And I will drop the link again for people to join as well.
Fabulous. So we are starting on Monday. I would highly recommend signing up, opening that email and joining the support group before Monday so that you can get yourself an accountability buddy. Those who go through this with accountability buddies tend to get better results. So I'm not just saying it for the sake of it. Join today, sign up, jump in the group, get acquainted with some people. We start Monday morning. Now, this is designed to be completely asynchronous. That means that you can take the tasks each day at a time that suits you. I would recommend for your own, level of commitment, set aside an hour a day at a time that suits you to go through your assignments. We will drop the content every day at 8 a.m. New York time. So you can figure out what that is for you. But when you actually take the assignments, it's up to you. It's designed to be, open to a global audience. And that's how you work when you're a freelancer as well. There will be 2 live sessions. They'll be on Wednesday and the Friday. If you can't make those live, there will be recordings. But you'll get assignments each day that will take you about an hour to go through that will help you lay a really good groundwork for building a freelance business from day one, where we talk about your existing skills, the types of people you want to work with, a lot of stuff we've been talking about here today, with some structures for you to do that. Day 2, we're talking about how much money you can make. We even have a nifty little pricing calculator so you can understand what your base rate would need to be based on your current living circumstances. Day 3, we talk about mindset because it doesn't get talked about enough. It's really important. Like there's a lot of emotional stuff that happens and comes up when you start this kind of thing if it's brand new to you. And then Thursday and Friday, I always say to Libria, a little bit of a sneaky treat, but you learn some stuff about how to land clients. And this is how people land clients. So show up for them. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
I said I feel away because to this day I don't know what the sneaky surprise is, and we've been doing this together for I want to say 3 or 4 years by now.
Yeah, for sure.
I still don't know what the sneaky surprise is. Between y'all and Hannah, okay. If anybody wants to slide in my DMs and let me know at the end, I will tell nobody that you told me. Anyway, all that to say, thank you, Hannah. I really appreciate you coming to chat with my community, and to bring your community over here as well. And hopefully you guys got some information from 2 real people. Like we're real people. Like, if I pinch myself, I'm going to say, ouch. I'm not going to pinch myself though. Real people who have been doing this for years and who have helped other people do this for years. These are real stories. Like I can introduce you to every single person that we mentioned, and a
Yep.
lot of the people that Hannah mentioned are in her community. You can talk to them
Yep.
yourself.
For sure.
And so I think that it's, really cool for you guys to hear from real people that we have faced the things that you are afraid of
Mm-hmm.
and come out on the other side doing all right
Mm-hmm.
and doing better than all right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's natural and okay to be afraid.
Yeah.
I think it's natural and okay to have concerns and fears. But what is unnatural for most of us is to lean into that fear.
Yeah.
And instead of just saying, I'm afraid, so I won't,
Yeah.
say, I'm afraid, so let me research.
Let me be curious.
Let me get curious. Let me ask questions.
Yeah.
What is fear telling me? If my fear is telling me that I am concerned about stability, maybe I need to think about how would I make sure that I have multiple income streams.
Yes.
If my fear is telling me that I'm concerned about how I would get clients, maybe I need to learn how do people get clients, how to build a great profile. So let's not just find fear and say, and run off, right? Because our lives are not in danger. There's no point there's no need to run, right? So here's a point where you can lean into that fear and find a place of growth on the other side of it.
Can I add to that real quick? I know we're out of time, but it's just a little practice I do when I get fears come up, because everybody does at different stages. When those fears come up, I always kind of pull from the school of thought of stoicism, where I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? And then I actually imagine, okay, the worst thing, because we're pretty unrealistic in our heads about this thing. I'm like, worst thing that happens, I'm on the streets, I got no money, I got no friends, no one's paying me, like I can't feed myself. Then I'm like, what would I do if this happened? And then you start living it out and you're like, oh, I'm super resourceful. Like that wouldn't even happen. I'm crazy.
We're the same person, basically. Because I do the same thing and I tell people the same exact thing.
Yeah.
What is it you think you are really afraid of? Name the fear.
That's not going to happen.
And even if it does, you're prepared, right? Yes. You know exactly what you would do next.
Yeah.
What does worst case scenario look like to you? What are you so afraid of happening? And if that happened, what would you do? Yep. And come to find out, you got a plan.
Yep.
In the meantime, you don't have to be afraid to sign up for the 5-day free VA challenge. A is free. No. It will cost you some of your time. That's it. Right? It will be a little bit of an investment in your time, but you can check that out and get your eyes open to some of the things that you can do to make money on the side or move into full-time freelancing and get the kind of freedom and flexibility and empowerment that you want in your life and in your career. So make sure you sign up for that and show up on Monday. If you're watching this after January 20th, just go ahead and give Hannah your email address so that she can let you know when the next one starts.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for having me, Libria. I always love these conversations.
Same. I always like having you on here. Like we have a good time.
We do.
And I love that I keep learning new things about you or getting reminded of things that I may have forgotten.
Me too.
You know, it's always good to see you. And thanks for stopping by, everybody. Have a great evening.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.